Hi there, my name is Sol and I'm part of the team here at MyWorks Software. Today I wanted to talk to you about accepting credit cards in your WooCommerce store. And one of the most popular credit card payment gateways for WooCommerce is Stripe. In fact, over 500,000 users trust Stripe as their payment gateway for WooCommerce. And setting up Stripe on your store is quite simple. You'd first have to go to stripe.com and create your account. The requirements do vary by country, and it is important to note that Stripe is not available in every country, but if it is available in your country, we definitely do recommend this as your payment gateway. Now, once you do set up, you'll be able to integrate your Stripe account with WooCommerce so that when you do receive a payment for a product or a service on your site, then that payment would sync right over and transfer into your bank account. If you do get set up with Stripe, they will guide you through the process of integrating your account with WooCommerce, and then the next step for you might be to start thinking about your accounting and how you're going to account for those payments. If you use QuickBooks Online, the good news is that you can easily sync those payments over straight into QuickBooks. Now, the way that you would do this would be through our WooCommerce Sync for QuickBooks Online, and this is an integration that allows you to sync all of your orders, your customers, your products, your payments, all of your sales data right into QuickBooks automatically and in real time. Now, it is a two-way sync, so it also allows you to sync your data from QuickBooks over to WooCommerce. But since we're talking today specifically about Stripe, let me just show you how you would connect your WooCommerce store to QuickBooks to automatically sync those payments right over to QuickBooks. Now I'll go right over here, and this is actually the back end of our integration. So you'll see the MyWorks Sync here, and it's uploaded to your site just the way that you would upload any other plugin. You upload the file, or you can search for us in the WordPress store, and then once you activate it, you'll see this MyWorks Sync here on your sidebar. Now to set up your payment method syncing, you'll go down here to Map, and that will bring us over to our map page. And this is our payment method map page. And if you scroll down here to Stripe, you'll be able to see that this page actually brings in any of the payment methods that you have enabled in your store. So because we do have Stripe and we also have PayPal and cash on delivery, these all appear here, and we're able to select individual sync settings for each of these. So let's go through our Stripe sync settings. First of all, to enable payment syncing, you would just turn this switch right here on. Then you would select a label for this payment, and this is coming from your QuickBooks options. And then finally, you would select your bank account that you want to sync those payments right over to. And then you just hit save, and that's really all that's required to begin syncing those payments over to QuickBooks. There we go, rock on. But if you do have additional needs for how your data syncs over, then we do have other settings that you can use. So you just come here and click Show Advanced Options, and this will allow you to configure all of the additional advanced options that are available to you. So let's go through those options. First of all, you have batch deposit support. And that's one of the questions that we receive the most actually, is how we handle our batch deposits. And as you may not know, Stripe batches your payments over a 24-hour period into one bank deposit, and it also batches your weekend payments into one lump sum deposit. This is usually accounted for in QuickBooks by using a bank deposit. If you don't know what a bank deposit is, let me just tell you. A bank deposit is a method of grouping together payments in QuickBooks Online to help you account for processors who batch all payments for a day and deposit them in a lump sum in your bank account. That makes it much harder to match individual order payments to this lump deposit. Batch support in our plugin will real-time sync orders and payments from WooCommerce to QuickBooks Online, but it will sync them into your undeposited funds account. Then, when your processor batches your transactions for the day, and you set the batch support setting to run at the same time, our integration will automatically make a bank deposit in QuickBooks Online that will group the payments together from undeposited funds and deposit them into the bank account you set in your map payment methods setting. So let me show you where that would be. So let me show you where you would configure that in your settings. First, you would enable batch support. Then you would select your batch support time, and if it's Stripe, it's going to be 0 UTC. And then you would select your batch payment holding account. So we'll set that to undeposited funds. Going back to the deposit time, it's really important that you select the right deposit time. Stripe's batch cutoff time is 11:59 UTC. This means that you need to set the deposit cron time value in your map payment methods options to 00 UTC to ensure that the cutoff time is correct when our integration makes the bank deposit in QuickBooks. Now we also have the option to batch your weekend payments, as you can see right here. And although Stripe cuts off batches at 11:59 UTC for every business day, they do not batch payments made during the weekend. This means that Stripe's batch deposit schedule is as followed. For example, Tuesday, normal batch from 12 to 11:59 p.m. Wednesday, normal batch, 12 to 11:59. Thursday, normal batch, 12 to 11:59. Friday, also normal batch, and then Saturday and Sunday are both no batch days. And then Monday, you get an extended batch for all payments made after Friday's cutoff time. So if we sync deposits over separately for Saturday, Sunday, and Monday, this would result in a complete mess of deposits to try to match to a single bank deposit in your banking feed later in the week. So you need to enable the switch to lump your weekend deposits. So that's done right here. Now keep in mind that Stripe does alter their payout schedule around certain US holidays, so there will be a few times over the course of the year that the bank deposits we create in QuickBooks might not exactly match the deposit in your banking feed, and you'll need to manually edit the bank deposits to adjust in QuickBooks. And I also want you to keep in mind that batch support will only be triggered for current day sales. This means that our integration cannot retroactively create batches for orders placed synced over to QuickBooks Online before batch support was enabled in your payment method mappings. So that means that if you installed our integration and got all set up and you had not enabled batch deposits and you went, let's say, a week without depositing your payments in batches, and then you finally realized that you weren't able to match those up very well, it would not be possible for you to go back and batch those payments. So it's important that you set batch deposit support on as soon as you begin setting the integration up. Now I also wanted to talk to you about transaction fees, because we do have the ability to sync your transaction fees. When syncing your payments to QuickBooks Online from WooCommerce, we support syncing transaction fees for any of your WooCommerce gateways, as long as they record the fee back to WooCommerce. So transaction fees are normally synced to QuickBooks as a separate journal entry, which removes the funds from your bank account and adds the funds to your transaction fee expense account. So here's how you would enable transaction fee syncing. Right here, you would turn the switch on, and then you would select the QuickBooks Online expense account. Now here you can select any expense account. So if you search for expense, you'll see the options here. And I would select commissions and fees. And I also wanted to talk to you about refunds, because we also have full support for refund syncing. And if you issue a refund in WooCommerce, it would sync straight over to QuickBooks. So if you would like to sync those refunds, you'll just turn this switch right here on. And you could also enable transaction fee refund syncing if you'd like. Now those are the most important settings related to syncing your Stripe payments over to QuickBooks. Once you finish setting all of this up, all you'd have to do is click save and then rock on. So now that you've completed those settings, that would mean that all of your Stripe payments would sync automatically from WooCommerce to QuickBooks. And again, through our integration, you'd be able to automatically sync those orders, those customers, those products, inventory. Basically, all the data that you need to keep track of would sync straight from WooCommerce right over to QuickBooks. And we also support syncing from QuickBooks into WooCommerce. If you have any questions, please feel free to comment or to email us. I'll leave the email below. And you may also click on the link below to check out our integration. Let us know if you have any questions. Thanks and have a good one. Goodbye.